PharmaVentures, experts in deals and alliances.
Hello and welcome to PharmaVentures Insights here in Berlin. Obesity is a big and growing problem, particularly in developed countries, and many companies are looking at ways of addressing this. One such company is Empros Pharma, and joining me on the show today is Arvid Soderhall, the CEO of the company. Arvid, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Good, thank you for joining us. So perhaps we could start with a little bit about Empros and what your company is doing.
So our company is a quite recently started company. We started operations in 2014, and I joined in the very beginning. The company was started by 4 entrepreneurs, and I coming up with the idea, and they also found an investor that has invested in the company and brought us to the stage where we are now. We have just finalized clinical phase 2A data, and so we're really moving rapidly ahead. I'm really proud to really be the CEO of such a company which is moving quickly ahead in this space.
So that is a very rapid rise in a very short period to being in the clinic with your molecules.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the obesity problem that you're addressing as a company.
I have to start with the actual molecules that we're using, because we're using 2 well-established molecules called Orlistat and Acarbose, and they aren't particularly popular as they are. But the good thing is that they are very well established and very well known. So we know everything about the tolerability problem, for example, with these molecules. And we know exactly how to get rid of these tolerability problems. But the point is that we know so much about these molecules that we can actually use them for groups that aren't that really need high safety margins, such as pediatric obesity and adolescents. We will not in the first case go for kids and for youngsters, but for adult obesity. But I mean, it will be a very, very safe drug. As compared to other competitors. And we're also not targeting the high range BMI, like Novo Nordisk, Saxenda, etc. They are targeting the high range BMI, starting at BMI of 35 and up to above. We say that, okay, BMI 35 certainly, but above 40, this is not really the case for Empros. So we're aiming on a BMI starting at even maybe 28 in combination with type 2 diabetes. Or up to BMI of say 40, and without type 2 diabetes starting at BMI 30 maybe. So this is kind of so it's a high safety product and addressing a huge population.
Indeed. You said they're established molecules that we know a lot about. Do you have intellectual property around this?
Yeah, so we're based the whole thing on a formulation innovation, which is now patented, or we have the national applications in process. I mean, this is the drawback with being this fast, that we haven't really got the patent. I mean, it's not in all countries yet. We have got a very good preliminary examination from the EPO. So we are, as a company, we're quite satisfied where we are with regards to IP right now. But this is we're basing it on a formulation patent. But what is also quite important when it comes to protection of this is that it's a highly advanced formulation which requires lots of skills, galenic skills, with regards to actually manufacturing this drug. And we have a very strong connection with a company called Recipharm, which is in fact the largest pharma company in Sweden right now. It's a contract manufacturing organization, and they're manufacturing the drug for us. And it's so advanced that we're using several of their sites to produce this thing. So except of this IP protection that we have from the patent, we're also having a technical threshold that is certainly difficult, and there will also be a very important regulatory threshold if anybody would come after us, because this is 2 locally active drugs, and showing that a generic substance would be the same as ours would be terribly complicated. So biosimilarity in this case is going to be very difficult.
Right, so you just sort of painted it as a little bit of a downside there, that the IP is having to catch up, but of course on the other side of that, once you launch, you'll have more IP life left to make a return for the business.
I mean, we will when we have the drug approved, we will still have like at least 15 years of patent protection left.
Good. So tell me a little bit about the clinical results you've just recently been able to get.
Yeah. So the good thing with working with established APIs is that you can go directly to phase 2. So we have actually skipped the phase 1 trial and can go immediately into phase 2. So we have just conducted a phase 2A trial on 67 subjects for 2 weeks, so it's a very short trial, and the primary focus of this trial was actually to study the tolerability and safety, but obviously we're also looking on efficacy of the drug. But we can't really study weight reduction in 2 weeks. That's too short a period of time, so we have to do that in the next trial. But the good thing is that we have been able to show in this trial now that we have an improved tolerability as compared to Senecal, which is, you have already studied in Senecal. We have an improved satiety response compared to Senecal. So the patients taking our drug, EMP16, is actually feeling more full and satisfied after a meal. You take this 3 times a day. So what you feel, I mean, when you take your breakfast and you take your first pill, you're actually not that hungry when you get to lunchtime. So you basically eat less. So this is a clear data that we get out. What is also very nice that what we have seen in this clinical trial is that the blood glucose increase, postprandial increase in blood glucose, is reduced significantly as compared to for example, Senecal, but it's also actually better than semaglutide and liraglutide. Liraglutide is Novo Nordisk flagship Saxenda drug for the treatment of obesity, and it's an injection, by the way. And our suppression of glucose is actually better than Saxenda, in fact. And I was really, really proud of that result. So it really, altogether, we certainly believe that we can reach a weight reduction of at least 7%, which we are certainly proud of, actually.
So if this bears out, that's a significant thing for you to be able to achieve, and will make a huge difference to the population that you're addressing.
Yeah, I mean, it will certainly make this. So the regulatory authorities put a hard threshold at 5% weight reduction, because then you know that it's of clinical relevance, and the survival is increased if you reach above 5% weight reduction. A gastric bypass surgery may, in the best case, reach up to, say, 20% weight reduction over time. And Saxenda and other drugs coming up now, they may reach 8-ish% and maybe 9-ish% or so. Some claim that you can reach up to 15% of weight reduction. I'm just waiting to see those data because I simply don't believe it yet. I haven't seen it. So 7%, given that we have a drug which is much, much safer than any of our competitors. I mean, I think this is a fantastic case, actually.
So what now? What's the company going to do now, and when should we expect to see something actually out there that patients can benefit from?
So the next step now is we're currently running a scale-up of the manufacturing, so bring the manufacturing up to a pilot scale, which is ongoing now together with Recipharm. After that, during autumn, we will launch a phase 2B trial. And that trial we will conduct that trial both in Europe, but hopefully also in some East Asian countries. And this trial have to be, we're going to prove the weight reduction, so it has to be at least 4 months, but maybe 6 months. We're actually, in fact, considering making an adaptive design trial, bringing it all the way to 12-month weight reduction data. I mean, it's a bit technical, but this will increase the value of the company pretty much. But importantly, the value increment after a phase 2B is the really big step we consider. So we are inviting investors now to join us on this ride, because we're inviting investors for up to, say, 12 million euros now to join us, and we're looking upon an exit scenario within 3 to 5 years, and we certainly believe that 10 times the money back after 3 to 5 years is absolutely a realistic scenario. Since we have a drug which is extremely safe, so we will not have any toxicological problems or so. And I mean, everything manufacturing and so forth is in place. So I think this is a really attractive investment case, and I'm really glad to be able to invite investors into this to join us. So this is one thing which we're doing now. The other thing, which I just briefly mentioned upon, is to find partners in East Asia. It's a long story why we want to go to East Asia, but it relates to the APIs as well. So there's scientific reasons, but there are also business reasons why we want to be in East Asia. And we would prefer to run clinical trials when we have a pharma partner in Korea, in South Korea. It will simply make things easier for us to run that trial when we have a good partner. And also, I'm kind of the guy who really wants to see the end of the story as early as I can, and I want to be in contact with the end users. And working together with a pharma company now, I really believe that would learn us a lot about where we're actually going in the long run. In the long run, you need to be a really big player to take this to the market, because it can really be a blockbuster. So you really need big muscles when it comes to both marketing and manufacturing, etc. But then I really need, so I need to have the contact with the pharma companies as early as ever possible. I simply believe that will make the whole case much stronger.
Well, it sounds like you have your future clearly mapped out, and you sound like an investor's dream here, 10x back in 3 to 5 years. So I'm going to look forward to hearing the success story in a few years' time.
I really look forward to telling you.
Best of luck with that.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
For more information about PharmaVentures, visit our website